so many of these Arab on Arab, Muslim on Muslim conflicts and assaults are actually along the lines of Sunni and Shia. Now, they agree, these two factions, on almost everything about Islam. Can't be true, Dave. It is. And what they don't agree on comes from something, pinch me, it can't be true, ouch, it is, from something like 1400 years ago. The extraordinary decision on the face of it of Muslim countries to bomb other Muslim countries and other Muslims, like we have Saudi Arabia bombing in Yemen currently. But it all starts to make more sense when you realize that one of the great divide and rule examples is the dividing and ruling of Islam through two factions, the Sunni, the vast majority, and the Shia or Shiite. And when you start to realize that Sunni-dominated Saudi Arabia is bombing Shia rebels in Yemen, and that so many of these Arab on Arab, Muslim on Muslim conflicts and assaults are actually along the lines of Sunni and Shia. So we have this situation which I was writing about in the books many, many years ago, in which I was pointing out that what was coming in the Middle East was a massive campaign to play Shia off against Sunni, to divide and rule, and then as a result of that take over the Middle East. And that is what we're seeing. When I first wrote about the scale of it and the names involved in a book called The Biggest Secret in the late 1990s, it was seen as outrageous. Couldn't be. That couldn't happen. So I've been watching the Leon Brittan evolving situation with a shaking head, because when it was announced that Geoffrey Dickens, the Conservative MP, had handed a dossier of elite paedophiles to Leon Brittan when he was Home Secretary in the Thatcher government, and that this dossier, having been given to Brittan, went missing, it was like, well, it's obvious why it went missing, because Leon Brittan was a paedophile within the Westminster Downing Street paedophile ring that Dickens was in part exposing. It's no coincidence that the Thatcher Attorney General at the time was a man called Michael Havers, who is now named by victims as participating in paedophile parties where children were abused. And it was the same Michael Havers who sought, at the same time as Leon Brittan, to stop the naming of a British diplomat as a paedophile. Now, they agree, these two factions, on almost everything about Islam. Can't be true, Dave. It is. And what they don't agree on comes from something, pinch me, it can't be true, ouch, it is, from something like 1400 years ago, when the Prophet Muhammad left us, and two factions, now called Sunni and Shia, started arguing and killing each other over who should be his successor. The Sunni say one thing, and the Shia say it's a bloke called Ali. 1400 years ago, and it's still going on. And a few people can't control the world. It's a piece of cake. So you have now this faction of Sunni, I say the dominant faction of Islam, which breaks down in meaning to something like people of the tradition, and you have Shiite or Shia, which is basically party of Ali, the bloke they said should have succeeded Muhammad. Now, from that division, schism, all that time ago, has come so much that's happening today, and is, like I say, in the headlines today. So you have so much of the Muslim world, not least Saudi Arabia, Qatar, etc., who are more focused on unseating and destroying Shia targets than they are their alleged targets and opponents like Israel. And there are many other connections between the ruling fake royals of Saudi Arabia and Israel, which explain that at a much deeper level. So you look at the emphasis and the targeting of Iran by much of these Sunni-dominated countries and their ruling elites. And it just so happens that Iran is the major center for the Shia Muslim faction sect. And then you have Saudi Arabia and Qatar, who have been supplying weapons, money and support for rebels in Syria to target the regime of Assad. Assad comes from a sect called the Alawites, which is a faction of the Shia Muslim sect. And we saw this week a Shia cleric in Iraq saying that if the United States creates a Sunni section of Iraq and a Kurdish section of Iraq as in effect separate countries, then the Shia of Iraq in its different forms will be at war with the United States as a result of that. And of course, people who've read my books and others will know that the plan all along has been to break Iraq up into, in effect, regions.